I believe we have sound now. So I'm even listening myself, right, to myself. So let's see when people start showing up and saying, "Hey, we have sound. We hear you." Um, Guys, this is a Thanksgiving. I said it. I said it again. I said it again, guys. Somebody called me out for calling everyone guys. And I said, well, that's fair because about 30% of my viewers are female. So I started to say folks. So, folks, out of respect to everyone, folks. But, I come from the Midwest. We called everyone guys. But I'm talking now knowing that nobody has switched on yet. Nobody has joined the stream. But I also know that about 80-90% of the views in the past for live videos came after the fact. People came on board later. And I see some people starting to join now. I think everyone's gun shy now after two times not getting the audio in. There's a technical reason that it didn't work, but the sound should be working now. You should be hearing me just fine. And I've got some stuff to go over today. Basically, the viewership, right? One of the reasons I'm occasionally doing some live content now is to try to reach more people because we have run into that big filter in the algorithm that has slowed down the channel tremendously, unfortunately. And we went from hundreds of thousands of views, my first video, to tens of thousands, which was obviously great. And I just post a little more often. And then it went down to thousands of views, and I just post a little more often. And the last couple were barely 1,000, like, just a few hundred views. And, so I am going to make some changes. I'm going to be moving on. I'm going to be drinking water because it's pretty late at night. It's almost actually Thanksgiving here, which isn't celebrated in Germany, but you know, uh, I'll recognize it anyway. In this case, the fact that it's not celebrated just means tomorrow's a regular work and school day. So get the kids off to school tomorrow and dentist appointments and all that good stuff. So keep in mind, I did make a couple runs at this. It didn't work out, but now apparently we have sound. I'm seeing the level, and hoping we get some people to join in this time after the false alarms. Now, if you're watching this and you aren't getting notified of videos and haven't seen the last few, just go back and watch them if you want to. Go back and take a look at some of the content. I've been posting content. They haven't been reaching people. So if you watch one, and I'll probably have to say this a little bit at every video because the people that do tune in, you can go back and catch what you missed. And hopefully we'll slowly build some audience over time. I've said many times, and I've threatened to make a new music project, and I am making this project. And I put down a lot of stuff, and now everything's written, and four of the songs are completely finished and mixed and mastered, done. Everything's written, everything's mapped out. It's either finishing a few production pieces or re-singing some. You can hear my voice if I've been singing a lot lately. So re-singing some of the lines from the demo and then adding new parts. So while I'm not really writing, I am adding production elements to things and adding new vocal parts, new verses, background vocals, replacing the demo vocals, which is, that's time consuming in and of itself, even though everything is mapped out and everything's ready to go. I say all that because I'll be turning 60 next week, and hopefully some people tune in for that birthday celebration. I'm excited to turn 60, as I've said several times. I mean, this is a big thing, a big, I guess, I don't know, opportunity to do something different, to be going into my 60s and not feeling, really not feeling older. I know that I know that it's there, although the hair on the top has stayed brown, thankfully. And I have kind of looked back just tonight. I looked back at some of my first videos 3 years ago and look now essentially the same. I know that I've gained a little muscle mass. I've trimmed down further. I know I've got some of this leftover skin from when I was all puffy and big before. If you haven't been watching, if you happen to be new and tuning in, I started a whole supplement routine well, 3.5 years ago. And I would say 5, 6 years ago, I was done. I was wiped out. So everybody who's tuning in again or watching again knows the background, knows that story. But anyone that's new, I've done that, and I've covered NMN extensively. And what am I thankful? Good to hear. Yes, WS Bill is back. Thank you. Um, I look just as good at 73. Congratulations. Congratulations, Bill. Bill had told me I had no sound, so he tried to watch the first couple of streams, and finally, Bill got it figured out. It took a minute. It never happened before. I've done live streams and not had the audio problems, but I realized I wasn't using the mic before, so I just had to reroute something in my interface controls software, which is the whole life that I lived for 14 years before coming into this realm of creating YouTube content. Now, 3.5 years ago, about when I first started posting some general videos, and it morphed into this. I started telling my story, and it morphed into this, and people started asking me, what NMN you're taking, and I posted, I'm taking this and this, and I got it on Amazon. This was very early on, right? And some people said, Amazon, somebody said, there's fakes up there. How do you know it's even real? And I went and researched it and come to find out I had been taking a different NMN at first. I switched NMNs the second because I wanted to save that money, right? And I switched to a fake that was on Amazon. And boy, was I upset. So I found Do Not Age through that situation that I went through. And now I've been taking their supplements for 3 years, been watching them grow. And how about some likes? I've been watching them grow, and my channel has kind of grown and now shrunk. They continue to grow. The pulse continues to shrink, but we all know what this is. This is, you know, games being played, gamesmanship, and hopefully some of this will slow down with the FDA putting NMN, this channel being an NMN centric, outlet or channel. Um, that went on a legit script database, and it really put a damper on all kinds of things with social media and with it extends way beyond this channel, but it went to Amazon, it went to Walmart, it caused NMN to not be sold. NMN has cleared that list now. It should not be on the list yet. I'm still, if I try to run an ad to get viewership up, boost a video, if I mention NMN at all in that video, they will flag it and say NMN, and they'll mention legit script, even though it was supposedly removed like 3 weeks ago from legit scripts database. So that's the whole sordid history there with the NMN ban that was never a ban. Like, they never took final action. They never responded to the citizen petition, which they're finally going to do by order of a judge next summer. So the FDA is finally going to respond. Now, here's the hilarious part that we've been talking about lately, and it seems like YouTube went into another gear with all the election stuff that has happened recently. FDA is going to be reinvented. It's going to have entire new leadership, probably see parts of it disappear, and maybe, hopefully, some new parts appear. And this is what I've been trying to talk about a little bit lately, just reporting, talking about what's going on. Everybody knows it's going on, and yet YouTube won't show the videos. And so we try and make a live video, and I still see we got 8 people watching, unfortunately, not super high, but hopefully some people will watch after the fact. And I'll talk to Bill and whoever else is watching. Hopefully people will tune in, to the post stream. And why haven't people have asked me, why haven't you just gone to X? Why haven't you just gone fully to Instagram? TikTok is kind of on ice. We don't really know what's going to happen there. Is it going to be saved in the next administration, or is it going to be banned? We don't really know. I have 8,000 followers on X, have 45,000 subscribers here at the Pulse, yet we don't reach them, which what do I do? Do I make a filing myself, to complain to Google, to YouTube? I mean, it doesn't seem right that I've got 45,000 followers and post a live video, we get 10. Something is amiss. Somebody's been blackballed here. And it's a shame, like I said, but I've continued to talk to people here. I've continued to post, um, for many reasons, because there are some people watching still. And I want to reach those people. And also, if things ever do get solved, um, yeah, people should subscribe. It definitely helps. If there's 9 people watching, but only 3 of you have liked the video, I see you. Oh, 2 people dropped. Um, what I'm going to do, and very soon actually, is to switch over most of the content or the fresher content to thank you for that like, I just saw one pop up. Um, it to another platform, but I really wanted to get this album done, and I would bet by the end of the year, early sometime in January, we'll be wrapping up the 10th song. So it should all be finished. Then, I mean, we're literally it's a song a week, and we finished for 2 more are completely production. And what's the deal with what's music got to do with the Pulse? What got to do with supplements? What it is really I'd like to take a crack at combating ageism. Ageism in my passion has always been music. That's what I always wanted to do. But I got too old to pursue my dream. And when I got my youthfulness back, last couple 3 years, I began to entertain the thoughts of doing this, and I started to get new musical ideas and fresh creative energy, along with the exercise energy and tennis energy that I've talked about. And I've sort of circled this birthday next week, turning 60 and saying, who does that? Who starts a music career at 60? And it's quote unquote 80s synth pop music. And then I thought, well, I'll just do it. And then whoever wants to follow along for that journey, I'm just going to be doing the same kinds of things I'm doing now, which is sharing my results instead of talking about tennis and talking about, oh, I feel great, or I'm running and showing clips of me running around the neighborhood. I would be shooting music videos. I would be preparing. There has been some discussion with Netflix and another uh, company to do a documentary about a song that I put out 35 years ago in Argentina called Much Better under the name Prophets on TV. And as the internet was growing, the late 90s, early 2000s, I began to get messages from people in Argentina. And the song was put out in Germany, actually, but it got popular in Argentina. I never knew. I had heard from the German record company that they were selling a lot in South America, but they never told me exactly where. And, I really wasn't in a life situation where I could have just hopped on a plane and even gone, and where do I go? To Brazil? Do I go to Argentina? Where is the music doing well? And then there's a whole story of how they found the song, because apparently a DJ was playing it and not telling people in the club. It was the biggest club in Buenos Aires, and he'd play it every night and wouldn't tell them what it was because he knew he had this secret club song, and people would dance, which, great, very grateful for, and they'd beg him to tell them, and this apparently went on for months. So they couldn't they couldn't find me, and I didn't know about them. So it took us all decades to connect. And, there were all this kind of, funny rumors, like, with searching for Sugar Man, same kind of a thing where people were wondering, did he die? What happened? What happened to this guy? And when I reappeared on a DJ program, and started talking to DJs, and the song's like playing on the radio still 35 years later, which is just nuts. Apparently, they consider it like a big synth pop track, like it's top 10, 20 in that genre in Argentina. And it still plays in clubs and people play it at weddings and, just the craziest story, right? And it had success here in our region of Germany where I lived, and in parts of France, and in Spain, we've sold records over there. So I knew that the song was doing well in the clubs, but I didn't know that it had become this big thing, where everybody pretty much knew about it for now decades in Argentina. So when coincidentally I started to, get this creative energy back and this energy back to and I started to dream again, really. I thought, wouldn't it be cool to go to Argentina and perform the song somehow, some way, either, with backing tracks or with a band or whatever, with the DJ. Really just kind of not important. I've worked in the music industry. I know that there are different ways to perform, and I used to DJ in clubs in LA. So, there are ways to do it. Um, well, I thought, why go back for one song when I've got all these other songs? And people keep asking me there, what do you have any other material? Weren't there other Prophets and TV songs besides just Much Better? And I said, there were. Because in my mind, I kept the project going, even though I wasn't putting new music out. I kept getting ideas and recording stuff and making these songs in this sort of same style. So I've got, I don't know, 2, 3 albums worth maybe. And I thought, yeah, I should prepare the stuff. Well, while you're doing a channel, while you're doing your work, while you've got family, while you're taking kids to tennis, it's not really conducive to spending a lot of time on music, although I just kept chipping away, in between this, in between that, go to a tennis lesson, sing a vocal, write a new part, write a new song, and make these videos and report back to you guys. Knowing all along that I think for me, ultimately the way to do this is to marry the 2 worlds together and just continue to tell my story, but morph it into what I'm trying to do. And I didn't know, if I'd be able to pull it off. I didn't know what turning 60 was gonna be like. I thought that this was all over 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I thought this was a done deal. There was not gonna be any Prophets in TV or any music. It's just my song is not in Spanish, but they, to go to do it. Thanks, Bill. Uh, he's asking, if you guys can see in the chat window, Bill's asking, was it in Spanish? You can hear, just look up Much Better by Prophets on TV. It's in English, but it's a pretty simple song, club song. They would dance to it. And a lot of people speak English there, or at least enough to follow, all the music's, all the big songs, I guess, or most are in English, even in Argentina, although they have a whole scene with Spanish music as well, of course. But that's where I'm at, and we're close. I put myself on this sort of deadline, this arbitrary, not so arbitrary deadline of getting out. Yeah, it's on YouTube. What happened is, Bill, it was never released digitally other than people uploading. So what they did is they took the record, and this is all that you find when you search for Much Better Profits on TV. You'll find people who basically recorded the album or ripped it. They would, not the album, but the vinyl 12-inch, and they recorded it and then uploaded it to YouTube themselves and made like videos for it. Or they had a record playing, or just like one had robots, dancing. It's just weird stuff. And there are these different ones. But it was never released digitally. And it was never, matter of fact, I didn't have the digital master back until last year. I wrote to the record company who's still in business in Germany, Here, let me type the name, Bill, and for anyone else, let me get here. Yes, profits on TV. Thank you, Randy. Profits on TV, much better. And keep in mind, what you're going to hear online is a vinyl rip. I've since recreated the entire song and the new stuff. So there's a brand new version of Much Better that is true to the original. Matter of fact, I sent it to some friends who were with me in Germany at the time that I made it, and they said, "That's it. That's much better. It's just much better sound quality. It's much better." So, yes, absolutely. Thanks for asking. Um, and you know, I I kind of got stuck in the mud a little bit as I said, "Well, why go back for one song when I should make an album? And why just make an album when I worked in audio for 14 years? Let's try to make it sound good. So let's find the right guy to mix it. Well, let's get the right vocal chain." So I got some other equipment that's more vocal oriented instead of video or music audio mastering, which is something that I did for a long time as well in LA. So I had to kind of migrate back into this artist setup, and turn this room into less of a mastering or, a video recording room, and again into a vocal, and production room. And that took some time, that took some time, of course, as well, just the technical part of preparing everything for this journey as well. I'm sorry my voice is a little shot today because it's like midnight here in Germany, and I'd spent an hour or so just trying to make sure I could figure all this out, and it's past my bedtime. I like to go to bed. I'll get up early with the kids in the morning and, have another 16, 17 hour day. I mean, this NMN has been crazy for me. It really has. I mean, if anyone's like, watch my videos, you think it's contrived, you think it's acting. No, it's and what happens is you get all this head of steam, and you have a big full day. You're busy, busy. If anyone's been to Germany, this is the Gerolsteiner water. So what you see is what you get. This is at live. It's kind of cool for those of you watching. Wish we had more. I wish YouTube would reach the people that actually subscribe. That would make things a lot better, a lot easier. In the meantime, we'll see where this leads. We'll go to other platforms. We'll try to rebuild an audience elsewhere. And again, I see with 7 people watching, I know that with 45,000, obviously we're being blocked, we're being filtered and limited in our reach. So I didn't even mention, much other than the early story of meeting the DoNotAge people. Obviously, they have, for those of you watching, they do have, or watching after the fact, they do have that sale this week that a lot of people have taken part in. It's amazing that these thousands of people that got on NMN and started taking the supplements through the years, even though we're not reaching them with the channel anymore, they're still buying the supplements, which is great. But just think how many people we would have reached if the growth would have continued for the channel. Just it's great that there's like 1,000, 2,000 people regularly just buying supplements with the code the pulse. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's supporting the efforts to continue doing the channel, and also to do the music project. It's all helpful. Bulk supplements, NMN, any good? I don't know who that is, Randy. I, you know, I just made a video about Amazon fakes, and Now Foods tested a supplement called Sam E, and they tested 23 brands, and only 3 of them. I like the dance beat. We're getting a real time music reaction from Bill. Anyways, to finish this real quick, only 3 of the 23 brands had the actual supplement in it. Oh, message retracted. Bill, that was a nice message. What you do? Um, that is, someone asking me about Brandy asking me about bulk supplements. I'd just be very careful with anything, and I personally just I've tested do not ages. I've done everything I could to lobby them to get pricing down and help people as much as we can. There's the message. It really is me. I wrote, produced it, sang it, and I have more. I was one of the reasons. I'll get back to the music story in a minute. I'm kind of bouncing. You could see how these worlds collide, right? Um, what happened another thing that happened with Much Better is I put it on a B-side. That's what another thing that made it hard to find because you really had to flip it over and look, and that's what DJs did. I didn't have a very good, take myself, and we made it a self-release at first before the label picked it up, and then flipped it over and made the other song the A side, which still wasn't much better. It was the second song on the B side. So you talk about a hidden track, how they found it in Argentina and how it became what it did. It's just a crazy story, and that's why Netflix got interested because there's a producer who was DJing back at the time, and now he works for NBC and Telemundo out of Miami. His name's Marcelo and Marcello, and he was there and he lived through this, and now he's working for Netflix and other networks and doing another documentary. And he said, "You won't believe this story of this song that became a decades long classic, synth pop song." Other people's words, not mine. I'm just telling the story a little bit here. And it really was crazy, almost impossible the way it happened. They literally made a bootleg recording of the DJ's setup because he wouldn't tell them the song. So they snuck a recorder in, sent that. They didn't have record plants at the time. This is early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. They didn't have them in Argentina. So they sent the tape to Spain and made bootlegs of the song because keep in mind, they didn't know what it was. They only knew much better, much better, much better, because that's what I say many times in the song. They didn't know it was Prophets on TV. They sure as hell didn't know it was me. And so they print I don't know how many thousand of these bootlegs. Yes, I was bootlegged before I even, the bootlegs apparently sold every bit as much as the originals, if not more, because I've talked to people that have like 6 versions of the release of Much Better. The bootlegs and like the 2 official, which was the self-release on a label called Boy Records, but we just went and paid them and did it ourselves in the very beginning. And then Zix, who picked it up and had distribution in South America, among other places where it kind of reached out into some of the club world, right? So yeah, that is the crazy story. I know a lot of people aren't watching live, and a lot of people aren't not very many people besides nobody's commenting except for Randy and Bill. But hopefully after the fact, some of you guys will hear some of this story and have some interest and understand my story. Really, that it comes from this because that's what I started to do. Started Found myself again after losing myself, taking supplements, and the dream got reignited, just like almost like spontaneous combustion. And when I reached out to some of the, people that I do know that I have met, who have like radio programs or streaming programs in Argentina, and I said, I'm thinking of doing some new music. They honestly, they went bananas and they were like, definitely do it. You got to do it. You got to come down here. You got to release the other songs so that they can hear them down here. And that's what I'm going to morph this social media presence into. Don't know if YouTube will ever come back on board, or for that whole story, but we'll pursue the other outlets. We'll pursue the documentary idea because I think it'd be fun to do, and it's in line with what. And basically, this channel is a documentary, right? It's a living, breathing documentary, reality TV, whatever you want to call it, of my supplement story. It's just that the supplements do things to you. They give you energy back. They give you ideas back. They give you your desire back to do things. I've seen this in other people. I've heard from other people through the channel that have said, I'm out there I'm working again. I'm doing this again. I'm getting back. A lot of it's fitness oriented, I know, because it physically manifests itself for a lot of people and for me. But then other people have gone back to to create, the creative projects, various creative projects. So I'm hearing lots of different stories like hang gliding and like all these kinds of things. It's extended for people their energy to do things. And like I said, not just physical energy, but creative energy. So anyways, that's what it's been for me. I'm probably gonna check out here. It's been 30 minutes. I know it's a long-winded video, but I definitely wanted to reach whoever I could reach tonight. I thank you guys for watching, you folks. But it is guys tonight. If it's Bill and Randy, you imagine. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video, but they're going to think two people watched because, or eight, because there's 8 likes. But I'll post it also in the regular video feed as well. So it'll be up in the live section. It'll be up in the regular video views as well. And let's try and do this more often. Probably also with the holiday, we're not getting the viewers that we would have gotten on a regular day. But I just felt like checking in with something different. And to be honest with you, I'm literally working every day, chipping away right now. And it's a song a week that we're finishing, myself and Justin, the mix engineer, and it's going well. It's fun. They're coming back better than anything I've tried to put out in the past, and so I'm excited to do this, and I'm excited for some of you guys to come along with me on this ride. I know not anyone, not everyone in the Pulse world is going to come along for a music project ride, but I hope those of you that do enjoy it. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back. We'll do this. We're going to be doing this probably a lot, as the stuff continues to develop. Thanks for watching.